Hey everyone, this is Shane here with Echo Soundworks. In this video, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. You guys asked to see my sound design process quite a bit in the comments on YouTube videos and Instagram posts. You wanna see how I make presets and samples, so I thought I'd finally kind of peel back that door and show you. So I'm gonna be sitting down to make some 808s. I'm actually needing to make 808s for one of the next packs I'm gonna be releasing, which is a Hyperpop pack. So in this video, I'm gonna be making some 808s from scratch in Serum and in Vital. Let's go. All right, so I've really been into messing around with these imperfect type of sine waves for 808s and low sounds and sub. Let's try one's called Sine to Saw. This is from our free pack modular. It's a bunch of different wavetables. You can use it in Serum, Vital, any wavetable synth. All right, so let's tune this way down. And the first thing I actually like to do is get kind of the pitch, the tick, the attack of the sound in. And instead of using a noise sample, a noise oscillator or some type of like kick tick, because you have those in Serum, I actually would prefer to do I'd prefer to do it with a pitch modulation with a LFO. So let's do that now. So I'm going to basically turn this to an envelope, turn off BPM, and we're going to modulate the coarse pitch. So right now it's going to sound a little bit weird. So I'm going to do is I'm going to Alt or Option click on this so it's a unidirectional modulation, and so it's just going up in pitch because I want this high-end kind of snap. And then you just play around with the shape and the speed, essentially. All right, so that's basically going to set the like actual tick of the sound. Let's go to our envelope now. I want to create kind of like a Zay spin style 808 today, so we're going to do a kind of a short attack, or a little bit of a longer attack rather, probably about 30 milliseconds, 40 milliseconds. And that will allow me to increase the sound a little bit. Now let's get some noise in. And yeah, so basically that's it for our first part of the sound. It's just this sine wave. And let's go and add some distortion. All right, so I actually saved it really quick in case Logic crashes. It's crashed a couple times today actually. So I'm gonna choose, let's try the diode one. All right, that actually sounds pretty good, but let's go and turn on the EQ, change it to a low pass, and I'm gonna filter out some of the highs. That's gonna allow me to drive it a little bit harder. All right, let's go back to our noise oscillator that we dragged in here, and let's add a little bit of noise. All right, so with this, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna modulate that with an envelope. So basically, I don't want the noise from that organ sound because it adds that nice kind of crispy texture. I don't want that happening on the kind of kick tick because I spent a good amount of time, probably about 5 minutes, setting up this LFO. Remember, that's modulating our coarse pitch of our oscillator. So I don't want this overtaking that. So I'm going to use an envelope with a little bit of an attack time, and we're going to control this. So I'm going to try it out with a huge amount right now. Honestly, that sounds like a Hyperpop 808. Anyway, that's way too much attack time. All right, let's turn this way down. I think that works. All right, so now what's happening with this kick tick though? You notice more of it at lower pitches. So I'm going to use my note macro and I'm going to modulate the pitch, not the pitch. We're going to modulate the rate of our LFO. We're basically going to speed it up as I go up the keyboard. And that's going to kind of keep that attack sound of the kick more consistent. All right, so now I'm going to load in a filter. We're going to go for, let's try a peak filter. Up. And I'm actually going to hit that with this LFO. All right, so now we're going to bounce it in place. and see what the waveform looks like. That looks pretty good. We basically want it to look like a Christmas tree. It could use a little bit more attack, I guess, but we can create that outside of Serum. So let's listen to this. All right, so I'm gonna bounce that with the fade. Delete that, delete that. All right, now we're gonna add a little bit of distortion. I'm gonna try Decapitator. Sometimes I'll work with Isotope Trash 2, Fab Filter Saturn 2. It really just depends, but I feel like working with Decapitator right now. All right, so let's dial the mix down. Going. So let's get a little transient shaper going. We're gonna add some attack. All right, let's bounce that in place now. All right, so that sounds pretty good now. And then what I'll generally do is load up some type of soft clipper, hard clipper maybe. Newfangled Saturate is a good plugin for it. It adds a little bit of delay though, which I'm not into. So let's try, we'll do fat effects. Good old ugly fat effects. All right, so I'll add a little bit of limiting to it, turn down our output. All right, so I know this note is a C, so I'll sometimes mess around and see if it needs more bass, so 32 hertz. Sounds pretty good. It's pretty beefy, and then sometimes I'll add a little bit of an exciter to it. All right, so my camera died. It's just the screen now. So we're gonna do the same thing, but now we're gonna look at it in Vital. So Vital's a little bit different. It doesn't have all the same, things as Serum. A lot of similarities, obviously. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna load in a waveform. Let me go and choose. Let's try Edges. Is it Edges or Edges 2? Let's do Edges 2. So this is kind of a sine wave. Let's change the voices polyphony to 1. Add a little bit of glide. All right, let's go to our first LFO. Again, I'm gonna create the kind of kick-tick sound with our LFO. So I'm gonna make a kind of real aggressive cut here. We're gonna change the trigger mode to envelope, and we're gonna change this from a musical value of like half note, eighth note, quarter note, etc., to seconds. And we're gonna modulate the actual pitch, not the pitch over the right, but the main pitch. And there is our kick tick. Let's go and dial in our envelope settings here. Add a little bit of attack time. So what you can basically do is you can turn your attack way down and you can crank this kind of pitch tick here. And you can essentially control it with the attack. All right, so that sounds pretty cool. Let's go and add a little bit of drive with a filter. I'm gonna use the diode filter for this. We're gonna keep it on low shelf. Add a little bit of resonance. All right, let's go to the effects now. But we can also, keep it a little bit cleaner. So basically we can start to process it outside of Vital and get more of a kind of a sonic palette going with our distortion. All right, so let's add a little bit of noise now. Let's have this go into our first filter. Actually, let's have that go into our second filter so we can carve out more frequency. All right, so I think that's a pretty cool preset. Let's save this now. Hit save. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dial back the drive a little bit. And I'm gonna pull up a couple plugins outside of Vital that I like to use to process 808. We have Decapitator and Dirt from Nave Instruments. So I actually made 4 samples from those 2 presets. I just processed them a little bit differently. So here is our first one right here, our second one, third, and fourth. So we're gonna drag and drop this into Logic's sampler called Quick Sampler. And then test them out. We're gonna do this for all 4, see how they work. And let's try the fourth one. All right, so all 4 of them actually work. So those would be candidates for the Hyperpop pack. So there you guys go. There's a little bit of a kind of a behind the scenes look at how I start to create sounds and samples for our packs. If you have any questions or comments, post those below. I'd love to see what you guys think about this video and the new format. All right, so that's gonna sum up this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can post those below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. If you guys aren't subscribed to our channel, you know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. The support really does mean a lot to us. And if you guys haven't ever checked out our website, echosoundworks.com, definitely head on over there. There's a ton of free content, samples, loops, and presets. And of course, there's some premium sound sets and sample packs as well. And lastly, if you guys use Instagram, consider giving us a follow. We run a lot of contests, giveaways, and promotions on that platform. And I think you guys will like what we're doing over there. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.